Hello again, vinyl community. This is Matt, and I wanted to just make a real quick video about um, a subject that I've been thinking about, but it's kind of hard to put into words to verbalize it. And that is why we do what we do. You know, why people who are interested in vinyl, in older music, in vintage audio, vintage hi-fi systems, that sort of thing. I mean, why are we doing it? You know, is it just purely nostalgia, or is there more to it? And I kind of got to thinking about it because, you know, if we were interested in convenience, of course, there's no way we would be digging through crates and record stores and thrift stores. We wouldn't be looking for the elusive Holy Grail vinyl record, whatever it might be. You know, we would just use our phones, or we would use an iPod or whatever. And granted, some of us use those as well. Like I have an iPod right here, actually. And I use it from time to time, not as much as I used to. I used to use it a lot. But I found that over time, I've just kind of stopped using it. You know, very occasionally, if I'm at work, I might put it on. But for the most part, I just kind of lost interest in it. And I got to thinking about why that might be, because, you know, it's obviously way more convenient. I mean, everything's in a tight little package like this. It's easy to carry around. It's very portable. You can store thousands of tracks on here. This is a 160 gigabyte iPod, so it can hold a lot of stuff on it. And of course it's more convenient, of course it is. But there's more to it than that. I think maybe part of it's the sound quality. It's not as rich or as warm, of course, because it's completely digital. It's not analog in any way. But I think as well it's a sensory thing, and that was kind of the conclusion that I came to. I mean, if I want to play a song on this, I mean, it's just switching it on, right? And you know, let's say I'm looking for an artist. Let's look for Pink Floyd. And okay, so I have some Pink Floyd albums on here. I don't know how well you can see that, but let's pick Dark Side of the Moon. Okay, and then we can start playing it, no problem. And I can plug headphones into it, and great. But it's been a very unrewarding experience doing this. You know what I mean? All I did was press a few buttons and just find something on a screen real quick. Or if it's a phone or if it's an iPad or something, I might not even be touching any buttons. It may be just literally using a touch screen to do everything. And it's sort of unfulfilling in a way. I think that we've lost something by going so much towards digital, so much towards portability, so much towards compression, cramming as much into a space as possible, and by that I mean cramming as many songs onto flash memory, or actually this has a hard drive in it, or onto a hard drive as possible. That we've gone more towards quantity versus quality. And again, just getting back to what I said about a sensory experience, with this, all I've done is, you know, pushed a couple of buttons or used a screen, and I can start playing the song that I wanted. In this case, Speak to Me, first track on Dark Side of the Moon. Whereas if I want to play an analog copy of it, whether that is on some form of tape or whether it's on vinyl, we've got to go through a whole process. So let's take a look. Okay. So as it happens, I have Dark Side of the Moon right at the front of my box here. Of course, if I had this in amongst all the other records, I'd have to dig through it, so it's going to take even longer. And I got to take it out the sleeve. We got to get it all set up over here. We've got to switch on the stereo right here. Switch on the record player. Got to clean the stylus real quick. Okay, we've got to switch everything on. You just turn this down a little bit. And finally we can start playing our record. But you know, that took a little while, again, especially if I had to actually hunt for this, as opposed to having it right at the front of the box. And again, getting back to the sensory experience, you can kind of see this is such a tactile, hands-on approach to things. So just thinking about all the senses that you might use. Touch, obviously. I mean, there's the whole taking the record out of the sleeve, putting it on to the record player. If you have a turntable that's not fully automatic, you have to have more interaction with it. You know, lifting putting the needle on the record, quite literally. And you know, you got to deal with the amp and everything. And it's just a much more hands-on experience. Okay. Obviously, we're using our ears to listen to the music, which we would do with a portable music device as well. But it's also more than that. We're also using our eyes a lot more. With this, we look for the album or the song we want, and that's pretty much it. But when it comes to vinyl, I mean, look at this artwork. Look at it. I mean, and of course, Dark Side of the Moon is a gatefold, even better. And it sort of forces you to use your eyes and to actually to read, to look at the photos. This Dark Side of the Moon doesn't have any photos, but to actually use your eyes a lot more. And actually, I say it doesn't have photos. It does, of course, have a couple of posters in here. And then the other thing is, and like the smell of the vinyl too. I saw a video that somebody posted quite recently. I forget who it was, but he was saying, he put out a question. He said, okay, who wants to admit they actually sniff their records? And I have to admit that sometimes I do. I mean, you know, it's not like it's some sort of addiction. I don't go around record after record inhaling them or anything, but you know, if you take a record out, sometimes it's nice just to kind of, you know, you get the smell of it, so the smell of the vinyl. I find that particularly with old records. I like the mustiness of it. I don't know. I'm sure whatever I'm smelling probably isn't good for me, but yeah, the older stuff, it's got that musty, used smell to it, kind of like an old book. And it sort of tells a story in a way. You know it's been used, and people have listened to it probably before you, and I like that aspect of it. So we're using 4 out of our 5 senses. You know, our ears to listen, our eyes to look at the artwork and so on, the smell of the vinyl, and the touch, the whole interactive experience with dealing with the record, dealing with the turntable and the amp and everything, just to get the record playing. And some people are like I'm somebody that when it comes to like learning something, I do much better with something that's hands-on, something that's tactile, something I can feel, something that stimulates the senses. This really doesn't stimulate the senses too much. It's again, it's great if you're after portability, but really the only sense that's being stimulated from this is hearing. Once you start playing the music, and even that is a worse experience than if you're listening to vinyl or to any kind of analog audio, because you know this is digitized, it's being compressed. And you know, I think it's fine if you're listening to headphones. It doesn't sound so bad, but you put this onto a bigger set of speakers, or if I try to run it through this amp, it sounds terrible. It sounds crappy. It sounds muddy and washed out, and you're just not getting the full audio experience. And so I think, yeah, that's the difference for me. Comes down to the senses. Vinyl uses 4 out of the 5 senses. Any kind of portable music uses at best 1, and again, even that is a slightly worse experience than listening to vinyl. So yeah, of course, the 5th sense is taste. I would not recommend that you go around licking records. I haven't stooped that low yet. But hey, whatever floats your boat. You want to try and knock yourself out. So yeah, that's kind of my philosophy on why analog music, vintage music, and vinyl in particular is such a great experience. It's not just about the music. You know, I mean, the music's always the bottom line, of course. That's always the most important thing. But it's not the only thing. It's everything else that goes with it. The whole experience of interacting with all of this stuff, you know? Because sometimes convenience isn't always better. I think we've lost that over recent years. We've kind of come to assume that if something's smaller, if it's more portable, if you can cram more into it, it almost doesn't matter what the quality is. It's like more. And I think at some point you have to say, well, no, not necessarily. Sure, something like vinyl inherently had some flaws, or has some flaws to it, but that's part of the charm, and it's part of the experience of dealing with it. And you know, we've lost that along the way. We've become so used to everything almost being done for us by machines, by chips in iPods and iPhones and iPads and laptops and whatever, that we've really lost the hands-on experience with the music itself. So that's my little rant for tonight. I don't know, let me know if any of you guys feel the same way. I just wanted to try to put that into words, because it's been on my mind a little bit. I was thinking about making a video about it, and I wasn't too sure how to articulate it, so I did the best I could here. So yeah, thank you again for all you guys who are watching my videos, for the messages and subscriptions. It's really appreciated. And until next time, thanks, bye.